Ask Angela Villalba what her busiest time of year is, and she'll tell you the last 2 weeks of October, which makes sense given the business she's in. But the truth is, the ghoulish-looking products Angela produces in Rosemead, California, are actually used to celebrate a traditional Mexican holiday that happens to fall around the same time as Halloween. It's called Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead.
Well, Day of the Dead is celebrated on November 1st and 2nd, and it's a holiday that's celebrated primarily in southern Mexico, where they believe that the spirits from heaven come back and visit with their relatives.
For over 20 years, Angela has studied the two-day celebration that honors loved ones who've passed away.
Day of the Dead is a very festive holiday because this is a day when the relatives get to come back and visit with their family members. For the Mexicans that live in central and southern parts of Mexico, Day of the Dead is the biggest holiday of the year, much bigger than Easter or Christmas. Sugar skulls are my favorite part of Day of the Dead because it's a really interesting kind of folk art that's made out of sugar.
Angela was so intrigued by the Day of the Dead and its traditional sugar skulls that she wanted to incorporate the holiday into her own life. But there was one problem.
I couldn't find sugar skulls. And if we tried to transport the sugar skulls, they would arrive broken. They're very fragile. So what I did was I created my own sugar skulls. So we made our own sugar skull molds. We sculpted them. Then I went to a plastics company and was able to get them made. And I created a recipe so that we could make them in our homes or in the classrooms. And we've been doing it now for about 5 years, and they're very, very popular.
Today, Angela offers a variety of sugar skull molds in different sizes through her internet-based Rain Trading Company. Now, you might be wondering whether a sugar skull is something you eat or something you just look at.
The sugar skulls that you make from my molds, you could eat, but really they're a type of folk art that's made out of a food product. Generally, we tell people not to eat them.
Angela often conducts sugar skull making workshops in schools, museums, and even private homes throughout Southern California.
It's a lot of fun to be able to go into a person's home with all their friends and family and bring all the supplies so that they can decorate sugar skulls and share in the holiday. The process for making the sugar skull with my mold is quite simple. You use sugar, you use meringue powder, you add water, you mix it up, and then you pack it into the mold. You turn it out on a piece of cardboard and it air dries. This is a really good skull because it has good compaction, it looks really tight. The chin is in good shape, has a good clean edge around the side. This one's going to turn out just fine.
Once the sugar skull's dry, Angela decorates it using royal icing. Although it's not very tasty, it's strong and dries fast. When it comes to decorating sugar skulls, Angela says anything goes.
You can use glitter, feathers, sequins, anything that's bright and colorful to decorate your skull. Colored foil is a lot of fun to use because it shimmers and it looks good, and you cut out the shape that you want and you paste it down with icing.
Remember, sugar skulls are edible, but Angela recommends that you don't eat them, especially if you use glitter foil or other non-food decorations.
You can add the name of your departed loved one on the front of the skull, maybe across the forehead or across the back of the skull. Some people think they can't decorate a sugar skull, but it really is quite easy. And the people really enjoy it. They have a good time. It's a great art project. But besides just the decoration activity, they have a good time because they start thinking about their loved ones that have passed on. And it puts a little spirit in with the art project.
This is for my grandmother, Sophie, and she was Swedish. We loved her a lot, so this is for Grandma.
This is for my grandmother, Lily. We called her Mama Lily, and I loved her very much.
I made my sugar skull for my mother, Licha.
This one's for my grandmother, Maria.
Mine is dedicated to my grandmother. We used to call her Mama Nacha.
Angela says interest in Day of the Dead is really growing. Last year, she and her skeleton crew shipped sugar skull molds and decorating supplies to all 50 states.
It makes me very, very happy to know that we are starting to embrace some of the beautiful traditions of Mexico and accepting them as our own in our own lives here in the United States.